Hi friends, I'm Abby and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a little mini book haul of some of the books that I picked up in the past couple of months. I've tried to be a little bit more restrained for my book buying in the past couple of months. I guess I haven't really been reading tons, so it works out that my numbers are staying a bit lower as I haven't really been doing the reading to account for the book buying. There's not too many here. There's under 10. Under 10. Such a manageable number to have only brought in 10 books. The first thing that I have is sort of bookish adjacent, and that is a new book diary, I would say. I have been using the same book diary for many years now, which is this one. I have loved this. My grandma got it for me probably back at 2018, 2019, and I literally have been using it ever since. So every month I put in a TBR, what I read, and then the book haul. So that's what this has been, and I've loved it. And I went and ordered myself another one. I thought I'll order from the same company and I'll order the same size. And it's definitely not the same size. It's very, very pretty, and you can tell it's the same company, but maybe they upsized this recently because you can still buy this design. Maybe they've changed this and they've made it bigger. Maybe they do different sizes with the same design on. But anyway, it's very much not the same size. So not quite the plan, but I figure it's very pretty. It will stay. It also fits the bookish theme. So I can now continue keeping track on this because this was this was full. I was at the end, had to move on to another one. Got my October TBR in here, ready and raring to go. I can link this. I just got it on Amazon, but I can link it. It's not an affiliate link, but if you are interested in it, then I will link it in the company. Now into the actual books. I have a couple of gifts. So I have Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood, which was gifted to me from Ariel. I will link her channel down below. She hasn't actually posted in a while, which is Ariel, come back. But this was a belated birthday present, so she informed me prior to my birthday that she had got me a gift, but it was going to be arriving late because the release date wasn't until August. And I was like, it's the perfect book, I'll happily wait. So thank you so much, Ariel, for this. I have actually read this one. I binged it in a day. It was the right book, right time for me, I think. It was fun. It was what my brain needed, which was falling into a story with these characters. I do have a sort of review up for this. I did a review of this and 2 other books for new releases, so I will link that if you're interested in hearing more of my thoughts on this. But if you're after a fun, quirky romance, I would definitely recommend Ali Hazelwood. And then the other new release I have not quite read yet, and that is The Ballad of Never After by Stephanie Garber. This was gifted to me by Sophia from Sophia's Thoughts. As a sort of exchange, I got her some sweet treats. She got me the book. I binged. This is weird, I hardly ever binge books in a day, but here we are talking about 2 books that I binged in a day, back to back. I binged the first book in this, Once Upon a Broken Heart, and I'm really hoping I can do the same with this, that I can just sit down and read this book. That one I read on a plane, so maybe this should be a good plane read for me. This is set in the same world as Caraval and that trilogy, which I really thoroughly enjoyed. I really like that trilogy, and I was so engrossed in Once Upon a Broken Heart, so I really hope that this lives up to that. It's just cliche, bingeable YA fantasy. Moving on, I picked up for myself a few books, but not many, just a few. So I picked up A Desolation Called Peace by Arcadia Martin, the second book in the, I'm going to butcher this, the Clan duology. The first book being A Memory Called Empire, which I read in August, and I really thoroughly enjoyed it, and I definitely do plan in October to wrap this duology up and see how it ends. I really thoroughly enjoyed the first book, A Memory Called Empire, where we're following our main character Mahit, and she is sent as an ambassador from her planet to another planet, where the previous ambassador has been killed. He's dead, killed, murdered, and she is trying to figure out what's happened to him and also vouch for her country's, her planet's interests in this world, whilst navigating the politics and who might be out to now kill her. So I'm definitely intrigued to see where this second book goes, because the first book, everything really started really ramping up at the ending, and I want to know where it's going to go. I then have a couple of first books in series. I have A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross. Sophia actually picked this one up for me as well. She found this at Yalk, which I did not attend, but she did. This was on a table. It was like 2 books for £15 or something, and I think both me and Joanna wanted this, so £7.50 each, and I was like, £7.50 for a hardback, bargain. But I think I was quite restrained, only asking her to pick up this one book for me. And this, I believe, is the first book in a duology set on in like a fantasy Scotland. I think you're following 2 characters as they investigate a girl that's gone missing, and there is sort of spirits in this world. And I feel like this book is going to be for me. I get good vibes from it. Part of me hopes to maybe read it by the end of the year, because I know the sequel comes out, and I think it's a duology, comes out in December, so I could read the whole duology this year, but I don't know if it's quite going to happen. It might be a bit too ambitious of me, but I do think it's going to be for me, and I do think it's so pretty. Another one which I really think is going to be for me is The Stardust Thief by Chelsea Abdullah. This is the first book in a trilogy. And the reason I'm so interested in this is because it gets compared to The City of Brass and the David trilogy, which is my like all-time favourite trilogy, or one of them. But like the David trilogy is, I hope it's part of my brand, because if I have a brand, but like if you think of me, I hope you think of the David trilogy, because I love that trilogy. I love it so much. I am so excited that S.A. Chakraborty has a new book coming out next year. Harper Voyager, Can We Be Best Friends? Because I would do anything for that book. I would gush about, I assume I'm going to gush about it, but like, I need that book. I need that book. But anyway, this is compared to it, and so I really feel like this is also going to be for me, because it is also based on the same mythology, so 1001 Nights. And I think we've got multiple perspectives, and I think our main character could be a criminal or like a pickpocket, and she saves the life of a cowardly prince. She draws the attention of his powerful father, the Sultan, who blackmails her into finding an ancient lamp that has the power to revive the barren land at the cost of sacrificing all jinn. And I think there's a bodyguard who is a jinn, maybe, but I just feel like that mix of characters sounds like I'm going to really enjoy it. The culture, or like the mythology that's used in this, sounds really fun. I like my orange sprayed edges because I picked this up in Waterstones. I think that's the only special thing about it, is that it's got the orange sprayed edges. Like, it's not signed or anything, but I really hope this lives up. I mean, I don't think it can live up to the Dave Bad trilogy, because nothing can live up to the Dave Bad trilogy, but I'm hoping it will scratch the itch of the Dave Bad trilogy. Or I might just have to reread the Dave Bad trilogy again for the fourth time. And then I did get sent One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. This was sent to me by Orbit in exchange for a review, and I haven't read it yet, so I can't quite review it yet. This sounds like a dark fantasy fairy tale type book. Elspeth Spindle needs more than luck to stay safe in the eerie Mistlock kingdom of Blunder. She needs a monster. She calls him the Nightmare, an ancient mercurial spirit trapped in her head. He protects her, he keeps her secret, but nothing comes for free, especially magic. And then I believe that Elspeth meets this highwayman on the forest road. She is thrust into a world of shadow and deception. Together they embark on a dangerous quest to cure the town of Blunder from the dark magic infecting it. As the stakes heighten and the undeniable attraction intensifies, Elspeth is forced to face her darkest secret yet. The nightmare is slowly taking over her mind, and she might not be able to stop him. I feel like we're going to get along. I feel like we are. I think this is the start of a trilogy. Excited to give this a try. And then the next couple of books are some of the books that Fairy Loot have sent me in the past couple of months. Well, they sent me, I bought them. My Fairy Loot subscription books that I paid for. So the July book was The Undertaking of Heart and Mercy by Megan Bannon. And in this we're following 2 characters which I believe do not get along. One of them is running this undertaking business, and the other one is a marshal, and their personalities don't click, they don't get along, but then they start, and they end up somehow sending letters to each other without realising who is who. A romance ensues, I guess, based on these letters that are getting sent. And I really like that trope. It was in Love on the Brain as well, where people are communicating without realising that they're communicating. And typically the person that they're communicating with, they don't like in person, but they like communicating with them in the written format. So I do like that as a trope. I'm intrigued to see like how sort of like what this is set in, because I thought this was like fantasy, but the artwork that Fairy Loot have chosen is very modern in style. So I'm trying to like, my brain is a bit confused based on the synopsis as to what sort of like scenario, what sort of setting this is in, because I was imagining like a fantasy town where you have a marshal and you have an undertaker's, because I believe there's like some danger as well, that there's some like army or something that's coming. But maybe I've completely made that up because these images look very, very modern. I don't quite know what sort of like, it must be a modern setting, it must be. Based on those images, because she's wearing Converses and dungarees, so I don't quite know what I'm going to be getting into, but I do think this edition is very pretty. I like this. That looks more like the fantasy clothing that I would imagine. Who knows what we're getting into with this book and this setting, and I do like these. I feel as though this is going to be really fun, and sometimes that's just what I need, a really fun time in a book, and especially because I predominantly read adult epic fantasy, and although this is, I guess, classed as adult epic fantasy because it's in the adult Fairy Loot, I feel as though this is definitely going to be on the lighter side of things. Then the final book that I have is the Fairy Loot edition of Babel by R.F. Kuang, combined with a standard edition of Babel by R.F. Kuang. So I went to a signing that she did in London. I was very fortunate to somehow get a ticket to a signing. My copy from Fairy Loot had not arrived when this was going on. So as I was there, I felt like it would be a little bit rude for me to just be like, here, please sign my Poppy War. They had this massive stack of Babels. I didn't know when this was going to arrive because it was saying it was delayed at the time. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna have to have 2 copies because I want to read this right away. I'm just gonna have to buy another one. So I bought a standard edition and I got it signed and personalised. And this was the one I actually read. So there is that. And then a week or so later, maybe 10 days later, the Fairy Loot edition turned up. And this one is very, very pretty. I am a bit like, can they stop inverting things? Because can you do a little bit more? But I do think it's very, very pretty. I do like the gold that's used down here. I love the sprayed edge. The sprayed edge is stunning. The sprayed edge is just a whole work of art in and of itself. Like getting that image on a sprayed edge, stunning. And then the images again on the hardback all the way around, all the way around. And I do really like the end papers as well of our main characters. Oh, there we go. Like, I do think this is a very, very pretty edition. So, and thankfully and luckily, I really liked this book. So, oh geez, 1 second. I cannot get this dust jacket back on. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Jesus, I still can't get this dust jacket on. No more complicated than normal dust jacket. There we go. Thankfully, I did really, really like this book, so I'll be keeping both. It was successful because I did really like it. I do have a review of this up on my channel, which I reviewed along with a couple of other new releases, so that is up if you're interested in hearing my thoughts on this book. But the premise is that you're following Robin Swift, who at the beginning of the book is taken from China to England, where he is raised in language and translating, and then sent to Oxford to grow this skill set. And Oxford is where the magic is done in this world, where words are transcribed on pieces of silver, and the meaning that is lost within that translation is what fuels the magic. There is always something that is lost in translation. You can never quite translate something fully, which for me, I find that so interesting as a languages student originally, not anymore. I was on Facebook yesterday and it was like, 7 years ago today you did this, and I was like, oh, 7 years ago since I moved into like my final year at uni. 10 years since I started uni. I was like, 10 years, how has it been 10 years? Like, I remember moving into halls like it was yesterday, and it was 10 years ago. How time flies, how time flies. Are you always a student of what you studied in school? Like, am I always going to be a language student? Like, I was a language student. There is a small book haul of books that I picked up recently in the past couple of months. Let me know if you've picked any of these up. I've actually done, I think, a pretty good job at reading these books. No, maybe not. I've done an okay job with reading some of these books, and I plan to definitely get to the rest of them. Trying to really not like buy books unless I'm planning to read them right away. That is hopefully the aim of things, so that I keep my TBR on the downward trend. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my future videos. Bye!